Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for um, tuning in with me this morning for Psalm 84. Psalm 84 is really a pretty cool psalm. It's really neat, and I just encourage you to read it. Find some time today to just get out a Bible or open up a Bible app and read it. It's only 12 verses, and it talks about being in the presence of God, and it talks about the desire to be in the presence of God. Let me just read the first two verses. It says, "How lovely is your tabernacle, O Lord of hosts! My soul longs, yes, even faints for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God." And so here he's just talking about, of course, he says, "How lovely is your tabernacle." Now, again, understanding that in their mind and in their belief of that day, that God was in that tabernacle. God was living in that tabernacle. He lived in that most central place that they called the Holy of Holies. That is where God's presence was. And to really meet with God and to really be in God's presence, they had to go to the tabernacle. And he just talks about how he desperately wanted to be in God's presence. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. And I've been thinking a little bit about this lately because I've been thinking about, talking about, and even reading about prayer and about our need for prayer. And I kind of am convinced that prayer is based upon need. And what I mean by that is the more we feel like we need God, the more we desire God, and the more we will go to Him in prayer. And the thing is that we don't keep in our hearts is that we need God all the time. Jesus said in John chapter 15, I believe it was, he said, "Without me, you can do nothing." And so he says, "My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God." He says, "My soul longs, it even faints for the courts of the Lord," to be in the presence of God, to be in the presence of His tabernacle, so that I can be there where He is. The problem is that we can't always just make this desire for God happen in our lives. But there's another little verse in here, and I wish I had time to read all of it, but I don't. But there's in verse 5, it says, "Blessed is the man whose strength is in you," and then it says, "whose heart is set on pilgrimage." Whose heart is set on pilgrimage. See, in their religious practices, they tried to make pilgrimage at least once a year. In other words, no matter where they lived, they tried to go to Jerusalem, to the temple, or to wherever the tabernacle was. They tried to be there at least once a year, especially at Passover. And he's saying the one whose heart is set on making that journey and making that trip so that they can encounter God and be where God is. He says that person is blessed. And so I think for us, we are blessed when we find in our hearts this desire that no matter what is happening in life, a part of our life journey is to find God, and a part of our life journey is to seek God and to be in His presence. And I'm telling you, I'm convinced that the closer we get to God, the more our hearts desire God. That the more determination we have to find God, the more our hearts, or actually even the more we do find God, and the more we do experience God, the more our hearts desire to know Him more deeply and to experience Him more intimately. So as we take a step, and you take a small step, and then another step, and then another step, your walk will grow. But not only will your walk grow, your desire will grow. Your desire will be your desire for God will increase and will be enhanced. And so I just want to encourage you to do that today. No matter where you are in your relationship with God today, no matter where you are in your spiritual journey today, just take one more step. If you've never taken a step, today's the day, man. Jesus said, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open to you." I want to close it with a couple last things. He closes the psalm with this. He says, "Because the Lord God is a sun and our shield, the Lord will give grace and glory, and no good thing will He withhold from those who walk uprightly. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the man who trusts in you." Listen, no good thing will He withhold from those who walk uprightly. Listen, I know a lot of people, a lot of times things don't go your way and you think, well, God's holding out on me. God's holding this back from me. Let me tell you something. If you are seeking God, if your heart is set on pilgrimage, if your heart and your flesh are crying out for the living God, there is nothing that would be good for you, beneficial for you, and right for you in God's eyes that He will withhold from you. He will give you all those good things. Take Psalm 84, take another spiritual step in your spiritual journey today, and get out there in faith today. God bless you guys. Love you. Bye.